Hello, boys and girls. For those of you who don't know who I am Mrs. Covington, and I teach 5th grade at Thomas Edison. I am so excited to be your guest reader today. I have chosen a book called Randy Riley's Big Hit by Chris Van Dusen. He is one of my favorite children's authors. He's written books like The Circus Ship and If I Built a House, If I Built a Car. Hopefully I get to read to you later on If I Built a School. So baseball reminds me of summertime, so let's get into it. So here's the title page. Randy Riley stood at bat. He gazed out on the mound. His knees began to tremble and his heart began to pound. Then Randy started thinking about the pitcher's throw. He wondered, without gravity, how far the ball would go. And as he stood there pondering, strike 3 went whizzing by. "You're out," he heard the umpire call, then walked off with a sigh. So he's thinking about all that science stuff while he's playing a baseball game. A little distracting. See, Randy was a genius. He couldn't hit the ball. He struck out every time at bat. He wasn't good at all. But something beyond baseball brought a smile to Randy's face. What Randy Riley really loved was stuff from outer space. So this is his house, and then we have outer space. He studied all the planets. He memorized their tilt. He researched how the thrusters on the rocket ships were built. He knew the constellations and the light years to the stars. And wouldn't it be great, he thought, to ride a bike on Mars? When Randy Riley got back home, he went up to his room. He knew he stunk at baseball, and it filled his heart with gloom. So he took his favorite robots from the shelf above his bed and staged a game of baseball with his robot team instead. So now he's taking all of his robots and making pretend baseball games. The night before he went to sleep, Randy scanned the sky, and through his Spaceboy telescope, a glimmer caught his eye. He fiddled with the focus till he saw it crystal clear. It was a massive fireball, and it was coming near. Alarmed, he started plotting the projection of its path. He formulated diagrams. He double-checked his math. He calculated quickly and concluded with a frown. In 19 days, the fireball would crash into his town. Randy Riley flew downstairs to warn his mom and dad. The impact would be major. The damage would be bad. He explained the situation until his face was red, but still, they told him he was tired and they sent him off to bed. So they didn't believe him. I really like the illustrations on this book. Poor Randy couldn't sleep at all. He thought the whole night through. By morning, it was obvious just what he had to do. He gathered what he needed with determined resolution and lunged it off behind the shed to work on his solution. Ooh, I wonder what that could be. His solution for the fireball. Randy toiled for 18 days while other kids had fun. But he was on a mission, so he worked till he was done. So everybody else is playing baseball, and he's working on his solution. At breakfast on the 19th day, the news announcer said, "This is a special bulletin, emergency code red. A fireball's approaching. It just flew past the moon. It's coming fast, so be prepared for it to hit by noon." His dad's spitting out his coffee. They're like, "Oh my gosh." And Randy's just like, "I told you. I warned you." Everybody burst outside as fear and panic grew. Ooh, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm good. But Randy ran back to the shed. He had a job to do. So everybody's running in the streets. He's running out back. My daughter might come join us. He grabbed the tarp and gave a tug. It slid off to reveal the mighty mammoth robot he'd wielded out of steel. The robot needed power, and Randy knew precisely that 97 batteries would energize it nicely. The eyes lit up, the engine whirred. Step 1 was now complete. So far, so good, thought Randy. Then they thundered down the street. There's his 97 batteries. It's a lot of batteries. Step 2 of Randy's mission took place just south of town in a section known as Millville, where he slowed the robot down. The robot ripped the smokestack off an old abandoned mill. Then Randy turned the throttle knob to march him up the hill. What is he gonna do with that? Back in town, the people were as frightened as could be, but Randy knew the time had come for critical step 3. The robot burst out through the trees, stepped up, and took a stance, while everyone fell silent as if frozen in a trance. So he's walking up. Randy's eye was on the ball. No room for error now. 3, 2, 1, and flip the switch. And swoosh. And then kablow! A blinding flash, a booming crash. He knew what he had done. Randy Riley had a hit, his very first home run. The fireball sailed out of sight. A rousing cheer began. Hooray for Randy Riley and his giant metal man. And as the crowd went crazy, Randy stood there with a grin and mumbled, how predictable, a fastball, low and in. Everybody's cheering. There goes the fireball. Randy's down here. When things returned to normal after Randy saved the day, he went back to the baseball field to join his friends at play. And though his swings in earnest, he rarely hits the ball, but that's okay because Randy's had the biggest hit of all. And that is the end. I hope you enjoyed Randy Riley's really big hit by Chris Van Dusen. Have a good day, guys.